Hello. Hope everybody's doing all right tonight. Hello. How are you, Melvin? Join us for day 2 of the Boss Up Challenge, 30-day Boss Up Challenge. I'll give people a little time to get in here. Melvin Kenny Lawson, hello. Richard Marshall, hello. How are you gentlemen doing this evening? I sure hope you hang out for a little while. Talk about some good stuff. All right, so I'm going to get started with the welcoming of any new viewers and thanking anybody that returns this evening, because it is day 2 of the 30-day Boss Up Challenge. And what we're trying to do basically is work with people that are interested in having their own businesses, having a side hustle, figuring out ways to generate additional income and find financial freedom. And I feel qualified to speak on the matter because I've been successfully self-employed for the past 13 years. All right, so reminder to like, subscribe to the page, share, join the group. It's Business Builder Basics on YouTube, and the group is also called Business Builder Basics, and that's on Facebook. I'm going to do the acknowledgements. I decided to change the format a little bit and do the acknowledgements on the front end. That way, the majority of people, when they're watching a video, they usually only watch maybe the first few minutes. So I want to make sure that I give the shout outs. Tonight, I'm going to acknowledge DC Salon Couture. There are a few ladies, I'm not sure if I'm leaving any out, but I know Kara, Laura, and Sharice basically have a wonderful salon that provides a variety of services, and it's at 7768 Marlboro Pike in District Heights, Maryland. And you can follow them at Salon Couture. I've been knowing Kara for I don't know how long. She used to do my nails way back in the day, and they ended up getting their own salon. And if I'm not mistaken, they own a beauty supply store. I'm not sure if I'm mistaken about that, but last I heard, they did own one. And so please support these businesses, because we want people to remain encouraged about being in business, basically. I also want to give a shout out to Karina Neff, the CEO of Maxi Maids. And she's a wonderful lady. She actually, I met her through, good night. See. Okay. I met her through an organization called the Women Presidents Organization. And she has a company, it's a 5-star cleaning service. You can find her at maximaids.com. That's MAXI maids.com. And lastly, I want to acknowledge Derek Perrin of D1, I guess it's D1 LLC, their landscaping services. And he's actually a member of our group. And I wanted to shout him out. He can post his contact information. I was unable to get that from him, but he can post that if he joins us tonight. He did agree to do the 30-day Boss Up Challenge. So I'm expecting probably to see him come into the group a little bit later. And also, I want to make sure each evening we've been doing goal setting. And so I don't set the goals specifically, but basically, I want to make sure that each person, when they set their goals, that they follow up. They follow up and think about, did you meet your goal? Did you not meet your goal? And think about, if you didn't have success, maybe you want to consider simplifying your goals. If the last couple of nights you set goals and you've been unable to achieve them, you may want to consider simplifying those goals. And also, if you're having success, if you're reaching your goals, then you also may want to up the ante, because if you keep finding success, then maybe you can push yourself to more challenging goals that you can reach. And so the topic for tonight, is going to be synergy. Synergy. Hold on just a moment. Okay, so what is synergy? Synergy is the interaction or cooperation of two or more organizations, substances, or other agents to produce a combined effect greater than the sum of their separate effects. So basically, we're just talking about two things coming together to actually be better together than what they are apart. Synergy. And the reason why we're talking about that tonight is because synergy in business can be a real asset. Teaming up with the right people and finding the right people to go into business with can make or break your business. So it's very important to talk about the art of synergy. Okay. Why is it important in building a business to have synergy? What you lack, another person may have. If you need time, resources, and ideas to align, hey, Derek, if you need time, resources, and ideas to align to make a business work and get a business off the ground, it may be possible that you might have time, you might have resources, but you may not have ideas. Or you may have money and ideas, but no time. So synergy, this concept of finding someone else, another company, another person to join with you so that maybe they have the things that you don't have. And the sum total is greater than if you had done it by yourself. So what's better, to be individual and get less, or to team up and get more? I guess it would be personal preference, the answer to that question. So how do you create synergistic collaborations? Because it's not easy working with people. So how do you create these collaborations that are effective and work out for you? I want you to consider 4 things. Consider the laws of attraction. You want to consider how you choose people. You want to think about how you're going to delegate roles and divide the labor. And then you want to think about being able to assess the effectiveness of the collaboration and be able to adjust accordingly. If things are not working, you need to be able to adjust. And so we're going to break down those things: the laws of attraction, choosing people, delegating roles and division of labor, and assessing effectiveness. So the laws of attraction, a lot of you may already have heard that. You're familiar with the term. It's basically like what you put out is what you get. You attract what you are in general. And so when you are considering doing business with someone, before you think about them and what they're bringing to the table, think about yourself and what you bring to the table. What's the condition of your life, your situation? What kind of partner will you make? And that's the first thing you should think about. oftentimes people say they don't like to work with other people. I know I say that. I would say that a lot. Like if we had group projects in school, or just considering taking on a new business partner, or venturing into new businesses that require working with a lot of people, those are things that will turn me off. But what I realize is perhaps there's something that I should be doing differently that would change my experience of being in business with others, doing things with others, working with others. And so this is what you want to think about, okay? You want to make sure you're professional. And when we're talking about being professional, we're talking about the way you dress, your language, the way you speak, timeliness, the kind of things that when you're working a job, the things that you would probably try to do is be professional. Those things you want to take into consideration when you're interacting with people who could be potential business partners. And you never know who could be a potential business partner. And so being professional is very important. Being reliable, being respectful, being consistent. Be flexible, yet firm when necessary. Be competent. Know your stuff. Be teachable. Be able to take in information. Seek to understand before you seek to be understood. Listen and observe. Don't be arrogant. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong rooms. Who complains or thinks that they're better or the smartest person in their environment, it's really them that needs to make a change. They need to strategically place themselves in the rooms where there are people they can glean information from. If you keep yourself in a position where you're the smartest person in the room, or you think you are, and you continue to do that, you have to ask yourself why. Is it making you feel good about yourself that you seem to be the one that knows the most or has the most or is doing the best? Because you really need to try to put yourself in a situation where you see other people that you can look up to and aspire to get to another level. So don't be arrogant. Be courageous. I would say fearless, but fearless kind of implies a degree of recklessness, because you can't just, jump out there with certain things without any kind of consideration for consequences or things. So, but courageous would be the proper word, because there are going to be scary things that you encounter and you have to face them, or taking certain risk may leave you feeling uncomfortable. And that's okay. But you need to be able to calculate those risks and still have the courage to jump in and risk failure or risk losing some money, or, those kind of things. It's, being in business for yourself definitely isn't for wimps. You want to be patient, but also know when to make moves. So you don't want to be so patient where you just wait and wait and wait. You're waiting for something to happen. Sometimes you have to sit back, observe a while, and then you have to determine when it's time to make a move. If nothing's happening, when do you initiate some kind of activity? But don't always be so quick to jump in and, assert your authority or your will. When you're trying to work with other people, you need to be able to sit back sometimes and just be patient, see what's coming along. You might be really excited about what you want to do, and you think what you have to say just can't wait, but be patient. Be emotionally intelligent. So basically that just means have your emotions together. Don't be emotionally unstable. Try not to display a lot of anger or discontentment, unhappiness. when you're interacting with people, the energy that you put off is going to be what they receive. And if that energy doesn't make them feel good when they're around, chances are, if they're the average healthy person, um, they're going to be repulsed by that. You're going to repel people that actually have something potentially positive to offer you. And so those people who go around saying that, oh, I'm not working with anybody, I can't work with anybody, because, those usually are people who, they probably are telling the truth. They feel like the people that they have encountered thus far have been toxic, or, ill prepared, ill equipped. And it may be because of what the person is bringing to the table. Like you, the one thinking that it's hard to work with other people, if you're bringing certain things to the table and that's what you attract, perhaps there are people out there that it would be a breeze to work with if you're emotionally intelligent, if you can, stomach being around a person because they act like they are an adult that's conscious and intelligent and emotionally stable. So another thing that is good to do when you're having to work with others and you want it to be successful is acknowledge the efforts of other people. This is something that I definitely had to learn. Not so much learn, but I needed to be more conscious of it and to do that more. And that's why I have this acknowledgement section of each of my streams, because I want to make a conscious effort to highlight the efforts of other people, with the realization that I'm not the only one doing great things out here. There are so many people that are doing great things and better things than what I'm doing. And so when you acknowledge the efforts of other people, it helps them to feel validated, it helps them to feel positive, and that's something that would attract someone to you when you are encouraging them and giving them their props. So it's very important to acknowledge others. Be honest and act with integrity. Keeping in mind that when we're talking about integrity, we're not going to be as black and white as when we're talking about like rules and things like that, because I'll be honest, some rules are meant to be broken. Some rules just shouldn't even be in existence. And if you have cultural sensitivity, you start to acknowledge that certain things and certain systems are in place that really are unfair. And so sometimes certain people, certain cultures have to navigate the business world a little bit differently. They have to approach business and they have to strategize sometimes a little differently than other people who may have a competitive edge. And so integrity, it may not look the same for everybody, but in general, you want to act with integrity when you're dealing with people. You don't want to encourage people to do things that are shady or not correct. That's going to definitely detract from your character when people are determining if they want to work with you. Be goal-oriented and solution-oriented. So you don't want to be constantly complaining or focused on the problem. You want to make sure that you're focusing on solutions and redirecting when things are not going correctly. So you're focusing on a solution. And lastly, I have be proactive versus reactive. Oftentimes people wait until something is a problem before they take action. They're reacting to something that happens. What I'm encouraging you to do is to try to have enough foresight where you anticipate the needs. You anticipate the needs. Okay, you can try to determine or see ahead what may be coming so that you can avoid that. The way to try to consider these laws of attraction and how you're doing with them, you can consider getting a therapist. You can maybe have a mentor or an accountability partner, or all three of those things. And those are people that can help you determine how you're doing with all of these kind of things, having these characteristics. The next thing is choose people appropriately. So when you're choosing who you're going to try to go into business with, it's going to be really easy. And I want you to be cautious about working with family, friends, and significant others, because oftentimes they're the ones who are immediately in your environment and you tend to turn to them. I caution you against automatically doing that. You want to assess the situation. However, you could have a situation where, like Dr. Boyce Watkins says, you create, it's almost like a family reunion, because you have family business, and oftentimes when you all are working towards a business, you're together, you're spending time, and you're able to have fun and reap the benefits of working hard. He said it can feel like a family reunion almost every day when you're doing a family business the right way. Okay, so you want to not necessarily rule out working with family. In fact, it's a beautiful thing when you can. I work with my family a lot. Don't create positions that are needed that are not needed just to put money in someone's pocket that you know, like a family or a friend. You're feeling bad because they don't have a job, so you create some position that you really barely need just to give them a job. Be careful with things like that. Make sure that you've researched the people you're considering doing business with, such as fact-checking their credentials and their competence, checking their references. You want to know if they have like a criminal history, not for you to necessarily judge them on, but you need to be mindful of the industries that you're going into. For instance, if you're trying to go into childcare or assisted living, you can't have one of the primary people that's going to be working hands-on with the business, they can't have a criminal history or certain type of charges. You want to know immigration status. That's something we have to really consider today, because a lot of people are here and we may not realize there are certain things that could happen, and they could end up, having to leave or be unable to stay. So you need to check that. Try to get an idea of their family situation, if they have children, their marital status, what is their living situation, their age, the kind of company they keep, because that can help you determine if that's somebody that is in a position to do business right now. You just want to have as much information as possible. And then you want to, what does your gut tell you about this potential collaboration? What do you really feel in your gut when you're dealing with this person or this company? Does something not sit well with you? Or, how are you feeling about in your gut if it's a good idea? And then, but be careful, because if your business acumen is still in development, it's not like you don't feel like you're a business pro yet. Your gut may be off. Your gut may be telling you the wrong thing. So one way you can kind of help is to put that into check, is to do a pros and cons list. Basically, what are the pros and cons of working with this person? And you want to enter into a written agreement. A collaboration agreement is a less formal agreement than a partnership, so you may want to consider that. And maybe we'll have one evening where we go over that. You want to spell out the expectations for all parties, and you want to have an attorney or someone skilled review it if possible. Another thing that helps to increase your potential of having an effective synergistic relationship with someone is making sure there's a division of labor and clearly defined roles. Basically, people should know their lane and stay in it. The way that the division of labor is done and the roles should be fair and appropriate. You don't give people roles that they're not equipped for, they don't have the skill set to deal with, or incapable of learning it. Make sure it's fair and appropriate, and make sure there's flexibility of the roles and the duty. Sometimes things may have to change. You want there to be flexibility there. Do your part and suggest alternatives when the current dynamics are not working. You want to assess the effectiveness of the collaboration. You have to figure out how you're going to determine if this thing is working out or not once you get into it. And you need to figure out what are the ways that you're going to adjust in the event it's not working. Do you end the whole thing? Do you change the roles? What do you do? And it's good to think of this before you run into issues on the front end. You want to try to figure out measurable, quantifiable indicators of success so that it's less subjective. It's more objective. You don't have to worry about you and that person not really agreeing that this is what constitutes success. It's kind of like pre-established. So for instance, if your goal is to, let's say in childcare, is to get a quota of 4 new children each month, if you didn't get 4 new children, you did not meet your goal. And that's very quantifiable. So it's easy when you set up things that are measurable. And what is the procedure, the formal procedure that you're going to use when you need to make adjustments? There may be times where you get together with 3 or 4 people and you all are planning on doing something, and maybe something happens with one person that's significant enough that they don't really need to be a part of it anymore. And maybe you've already done a lot and they've already put things into it. You've done a lot with them. You have to figure out what is your procedure legally, because there could be legal ramifications if you just try to restructure a deal or revise an agreement and all parties are not in agreement with the changes. So I'm in my 20-minute mark. I promised that I would keep these information sessions to 20 minutes before I open up for Q&A. So really, I just want to close out by saying, let's lose the idea that we want to prove that we can do something on our own, because we're all interdependent. Human beings are interdependent in general. And they're the same thing in business. You really do need people, even if you're doing a business that you might just be private practice or a one-person show. You're still going to have to depend on clients and contractors. You're going to have to learn to deal with people. You're going to have to learn to collaborate. There's no escaping it. So when you have these other people that you have to work with, you want there to be a synergy there, where when you come together, the outcome is greater together than what it would be if you had not partnered. All right. So if you bring something to the table and do your part, that's very commendable. Like if you feel like, I don't need anybody, I mean, it's commendable, but just know you don't have to do it alone. And there are a lot of people that are looking to partner with other people so that they can get in business and be successful with it. And so those are all of my notes for this evening. We don't have a lot of viewers yet this evening. I know one person direct messaged me and said that she's in a class on Tuesday and Thursday evenings. So I know that she was not able to tune in. But remember, I already said, if you're doing the 30-day Boss Up Challenge and you can't tune in at 9 o'clock each evening, because that is challenging for some people, just make sure that you get caught up, because I'm making sure I'm making these videos accessible after we've broadcasted. So I share them. I do watch parties the following day, and that way they're available. People, they'll remain on my timeline. They'll be in the group, and they'll be on the YouTube channel also. And so you're able to go and get caught up, look at the videos, and make sure that you're working on your goals. So remember, set a goal for yourself. Set a goal for yourself that you want to accomplish before you go to bed tonight. Really, you can get in the habit of trying to set you're going to be setting a goal every night. And you don't want to have to necessarily rush to get, if you're on Eastern Standard Time, like it's already 9:30 p.m. Most people are like ready for bed soon. So you can really just make sure you accomplish the goal within, I would say, within 24 hours. You want to be able to check in by tomorrow and be able to say if you accomplish your goal or not. Okay, so I'm going to leave a little bit of time to see if anyone has any questions or comments. Any questions or comments? I see people coming in, but I don't see more than just a couple people viewing right now, but I still hang around for a little while because I know sometimes people join late. Any questions? I did promise I would keep this thing to 20 minutes and only make it longer if people have questions. I will give it just another minute. Sometimes there's a delayed response. I don't want to sign off while there's somebody trying to type a comment. Okay. If there are no comments or questions, I'm going to sign off. Thank you for joining me. For those who end up watching the video later, thank you for tuning in. And, oh, hey, Mom, I'm just finishing up. Just finishing up. We talked about synergy tonight. Oh, here's a question here. I'm looking for someone who can be a mentor for me. Yeah, mentorship is great. And it's really good if you can have more than one. You can definitely have more than one mentor. So you can have like a mentor. It depends on like what type of business you're trying to do. I would suggest your mentor be skilled at the type of business that you want to do. At least one mentor should be skilled with what you want to do. And you can find mentors by volunteering your time. Like if there's someone who's running a business, they may not take the time to consult you or be your mentor unless they're getting something out of the deal, which I can't blame them. So what you can do is you can actually volunteer your time and see if you can do an apprenticeship and work alongside them and assist them so that you can see how the inner workings of the business is. That's for the industry specific business. You can also have a mentor that is just someone who they just are, they reflect, I guess, all the qualities that you aspire to, or most of the qualities that you aspire to. They have things going on in their life that you would like to know how to achieve it. Doesn't mean they're perfect. And it doesn't mean they can't learn from you, but it's just there's some aspect of their life where you would love to get it, the inside track about, how do you do this, or how are you so good with that, or how do you stay so positive, that kind of thing. So mentorship is really important for sure. It's definitely important for our youth. And that's one of the things I want to do is make sure that this channel, I make it clear when I'm going to be doing things that are geared towards the youth, because I like to get them young. And so for some of you all, you may be feeling like you're too overwhelmed, you're too busy, you've worked most of your life, you're really not trying to do anything extra right now, but your children, you let them tune in. I'll always keep the content appropriate. I will never be ignorant on here or using foul language or having like adult jokes, because I want this to be a place where children can come and they can learn, because if they start learning early, it'll be like second nature to them when they grow up. They'll already know they want to own their own business. You won't have to talk them into it. They'll already have that courage, and they would have probably already been doing things like my daughter was saying. She wants a lemonade stand. She's already thinking about how to do that. And so when you do that with your children from a young age, it's important. And if you don't know how to teach them or don't know what they need to see, then allow them to watch a show like this so that they can learn. Because I also make sure that I'm careful not to undermine employees and people that work for other people, because that is very necessary. It's very admirable. And people that have the diligence to get up and go to a job every day. So I don't want you to think that if you let your children tune in, that I'm going to be sending messages that will make them look at you like you're less than because you have a job. I promise I won't do that. But we do want to get into the habit of making sure the children get started young and grooming them for excellence, and we don't want to program them. If we see that they kind of have a propensity towards something artsy or something else they want to do, like if they want to be a dancer or something like that, we still encourage them to do their best at whatever they're going to do. My oldest son, he's really not really interested in being self-employed. And I think part of it is because he was there with me through the process and saw how challenging it was. So he saw the struggle. And so I think, like with my younger kids, now that startup phase is gone, they're actually growing up in the better part of it. I mean, they still see their parents very busy, but they also get the fruits of the labor, and they don't see it quite as bad as like my oldest son. Hey, Paul, how are you? Let's see. I need someone to help me on the business end of things. Well, I'm hoping that this 30-day boss up challenge, where you're tuning in with me each evening, asking specific questions. Don't be shy. I'm here to answer those questions. Like, for instance, tonight, there aren't a lot of people, so you can ask as many questions as you want, and you don't have to worry about feeling like you're hogging up the time, because the people who stick with this and they're here with me each evening, those really are the people that are going to demonstrate they're really ready to try this thing with me. I'm not saying that just because they're not here, they're not out there making it happen. But the people that are going to be constantly tuning in here, I think it'll be a few. I don't think it'll be like the masses. And so you'll have time to like ask me certain questions. And if I don't know the answer, I can try to get the answer and bring it back. Like, for instance, you asked yesterday, Derek, if a LLC needs to be re-registered like every year or in intervals. And no, the answer is no. My father did tell me that because he's skilled in that area. You do not, once you register your LLC, you do not have to re-register. However, you do have to do your annual report for your personal property taxes, or you will forfeit your business. So I'm not sure if I'm able to help you on the business end of things, but that's what I feel like I'm here for. So feel free. You can ask questions, or if you feel like the questions really get too specific or too personal, more so, not specific, but too personal, that you don't want to share on a platform, I tell you what, because you've been somebody that's been committed to this challenge, and even before I made the challenge, you had tuned in. For the people who keep coming back, I'll make sure that if you contact me directly, I will definitely respond to you privately. I will make time to respond to you privately. There have been some people who have been messaging me, and I don't know who they are. I can't recall seeing their name in any of the chats. And I'll be honest, I feel like they need to come in, they need to show face, even though I can't see their face, but they need to show face, they need to show up. And if they show up and they show that they're serious, then I don't mind helping people who are serious. So, Derek, you can hit me up anytime. I'll direct message you my cell phone number and let me know if you have particular questions that you don't want to discuss in an open forum. So I'll wait, because I almost was about to tune out, and then we had a question come in, so I'll wait. Uncle Paul, how you been? Hang in there. Hey, Allison. Okay, I don't think I see any questions popping up. I'll wait a little bit. Hey, Tanisha, how are you? How you been? I remember you tuned in earlier last week. Thank you for coming back. If you have questions about business, let me know. I hope you're well. I hope your sisters are well. It'd be nice to see you guys actually. Wondering, are you all still local? Need to get together. Do you know anything about legit work at home moms? When you say legit, like people who are able to just be at home and work and make adequate income, they have their children at home, but they're able to do something that they can earn income. Is that what you mean when you say legit? Oh, Barbara, that's one of my people committed to the 30-day Boss Up Challenge. Welcome, welcome. Glad you checked in. Make sure you tune in so you can get the first 20 minutes. I gave information. The topic was synergy. Synergy. Okay, let's see. And you have to work. You say, I'm at home and I have to work from home right now because of injuries. I miss you and love you. Oh, I miss you too. Really, really need your help. So I would like to do a private one-on-one type of thing. Okay, so this is what we'll do. If you, since you're at home, if you're able to, you weren't here yesterday, but I started a 30-day Boss Up Challenge. And that's basically me encouraging people to give me just 20 minutes of their time each evening at 9 p.m. And if they can't tune in at 9, the videos are recorded so they can go back and watch. And I'm going to be making sure that I give information. I'll give information about ideas and different things that people can do. And if you're tuning into that, I was just telling one of the gentlemen earlier, if you're tuning in routinely and everything, then those, like, I definitely don't mind helping the people that are really serious about trying to figure out a way to like get that financial freedom. Let's see. These one around. You can make something in an hour or two. Something I want, something that's legit at home, maybe full time. Yeah, there's like certain things. What I'll do is I'll make like a list. My dad had the idea that I do a show one night where I just list some of the easiest startup businesses you can do from home. Like one, for instance, could be medical billing. It may require like a certification that may be fairly simple, but like medical billing is one that's necessary, needed, in demand, and you can do that 100% from home. And if your services are good enough and you're reliable, you definitely could stay busy, and that could be full time to the point you actually have to pay other people to help keep up with the demand. You say you have a friend tuning in tonight. Thank you, Barbara. You've been so supportive. Thank you for bringing your friend. Hi, Johnny. How are you? If Johnny has any questions, if she wants to join the Boss Up Challenge, tell her, I'm here every night, 9 p.m. All right, let's see. I'd also like for you to call me my number so I can fully fill you in. Okay, direct message me your number. Direct message me. Barbara, since it's not a whole lot of people in the group tonight, If you have more questions about childcare, now's a good time to ask those specific questions. And if I'm not sure if Johnny is a potential partner working with you, but if so, it's perfect that you brought them tonight because the topic was synergy, and synergy is about how um, people can come together, companies or people can come together in business to make a stronger business, basically. Two people joining up, or a company, a person, two companies joining up, and what they do together is more powerful than what they do apart. That's synergy. Hey, Charles. So I'm hoping more people will do the 30-day challenge. I figured out how I could do it. I was telling people last night because everybody's not going to be able to. They missed it last night, but that doesn't mean they don't want to do it. So when I label the videos, I'll label them and make sure that I put like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And that way anybody can come in at any given period, but they should make sure that if they start on day 5, when they get like to the day 30, for the people who started on day 1, they need to make sure they go back and get all 30 videos basically. And they'll have to keep track of when they started. That's not something I'll do, but they'll have to hold themselves accountable, but at least they'll get all the information. And then after the 30-day challenge is over, I won't be tuning in every night, but I'll still be having the channel and I'll be here doing the show pretty routinely so that new people can join, and maybe we'll do another 30-day challenge a couple of months from now or something like that. Okay, you talked to someone with medical billing and coding today. Okay, good. Right. Yeah. Um, so part of what I'm doing now is part of why I started doing this is because a lot of people would have questions for me about things. And because of how busy I would be, I was not always able to work one on one with people, because you'd be surprised at the amount of people that actually inbox me, call me, text me, and like want to meet for coffee and talk about how to start this or how to start that. And so basically I could be a consultant full time if I responded to everyone's request to assist them one on one. And so that's why I said, well, if I start making these videos, at least I can give people a general framework about the basics of starting a business, so that they'll be able to go at their leisure and look at the videos to make sure they have that foundation without necessarily requiring me to give them that one-on-one like consultant type of work that people pay for. But I definitely understand people don't necessarily want to discuss things in a public forum. The Business Builder Basics group is about collaborating and um, using each other as resources to get our businesses off the ground, bouncing things off of one another and everything. So um, I think it's definitely a good thing to do that without getting into any details that would be of like too personal or anything like that. Okay, so there are just two people now. If that's it, if there are no more questions, I do want to wait just in case Barbara is typing, because I know Barbara usually has questions and she's very serious. And so I want to give her my time because she is committed to the challenge. So I want to be here and be of support. Okay, you left me a message. Got you. Got you. Not sure if Derek is still there, but Derek, if you're still there and you have other questions, let me know. Don't forget to do your goal setting. Excuse me. If I'm not mistaken, Barbara's from Kentucky. Oh, you're still there? You thinking of any questions for me that might benefit the group? Let me ask you a question. Have you found, I'm not sure how large your company has gotten, or if it's still like to the point where it's just maybe you and maybe a couple of other people, but have you had difficulty um, finding people, reliable people to help you provide the services that you provide? Just you, yeah. So sometimes what will happen is as you start getting yourself together and you do have like a good mentor and things are getting off the ground for you, sometimes business will start rolling in so quickly, it's coming in faster than what you can even accommodate. So, part of what I want you to do is think about who you can have ready to assist you, not as a partner necessarily, but just someone that you could pay to have your back if things were to like take off. Because if you end up getting that website or that Facebook page set up and you start promoting, and then the season comes, because usually it's the summertime when grass needs to be cut, and the wintertime if people need snow removal, and fall for leaves. So a lot of times there'll be like a rush, and you want to make sure that you can meet the demand, because it's nothing worse than having to turn customers away. And I've actually had to do that before. Even my sister with her tutoring company, she's had to actually like turn away customers because she didn't have enough tutors at the time to meet the demand, and didn't have enough time to get them hired and recruit them and have them ready in time to meet the customer's need. Up 24/7. That's no good. You shouldn't be up 24/7, Tanisha. You got to get some rest. We talked about that yesterday too, making sure you have a lifestyle that is helps you to feel so that you can have the stamina to do business. Yeah, spring rush, you know it. As soon as it's like, and that's coming, like as soon as it's warm enough and that people are pretty confident there won't be like another chill, um, people are gonna be ready. And I mean, I'll definitely give you a shot. You know, just because I admire the fact that you're tuning in, you're taking this thing seriously. And what I want to do is let people know, if you get on board with me, I'm the kind of person where if I see something in you and I'm like, that person, they it's something about them that I feel could be good. That's that synergy thing that we're talking about today, going with your gut. If I see something in a person, a lot of times I will try to collaborate with them in some way. I will try to help them to, help themselves, help them to help me, um, give them business. Also, even as far as like with the assisted living homes that I have, I was kind of hoping that somebody would have stepped up for the 30-day boss challenge, someone that would have been interested in the assisted living industry, because I'm the kind of person, I'll just sit back and observe and see who's serious, who's showing up. And might even give somebody a business basically that I would have just shut down otherwise. Like instead of shutting down, how about collaborate with the person and let them take over and let them have their shot at running a business like I did with the daycare? I mean, I would love to be able to consider something like that, but I have to like see that people are serious. People have to put the time in. And I'm still working on projects now where I'm always looking for people to collaborate and put them on. So let's see. Barbara's asking, what do you think a big business demand in Louisville, Kentucky is? I've had a hard time finding people you can depend on. Well, I'm going to tell you, Barbara, up here in Maryland, we have the same issue finding people to depend on. It is difficult. I don't have the solution to that. But as far as business in Louisville, Kentucky, I'm not sure what the demographic is. I'm not sure. I would have to like research what the median income is down there in your area to see like, is this a place where people have a lot of money or don't have a lot of money? Because then we have to consider what kind of things would be good in that area. I'm not sure. Have medical marijuana reached Louisville, Kentucky? Like the dispensaries? Do they have dispensaries there? It's like almost like a liquor store, but it's for like marijuana. And you have to have a license to open one up. I think there could be a demand for that. There's pretty much a demand for that like everywhere. So a dispensary for medical marijuana or even recreational, if that's legal there. Some places it's legal for recreation and for medical. Some places it's only medical, and I think some places it's not for either. Another business could be, I'm not sure how you actually find the connect. My sister has one. I'm not sure how she found it, but selling bundles of hair that characteristically Black women purchase. The hair industry is $1 billion industry, and sadly, Black women are the ones that benefit the least from it. So imagine if somebody was able to get a connect and be able to have like our own beauty supply stores. Like I always wonder, why don't you hardly ever see any beauty supply stores owned by Black women when they're the primary consumer in that industry? I believe they're the primary, they spend the most on hair care products. So you can consider that maybe. Not sure what the theme would be. I know you were thinking of childcare. I know you asked about a homeless shelter. A homeless shelter that would I've never heard of a for-profit homeless shelter, so it would probably be nonprofit, and I think that would be very challenging, like we talked about the other day. But group homes, assisted living, I feel like assisted living for disabled adults and elderly, I feel like there's a need for that everywhere. So assisted living, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but I have a couple of these type of homes. They're a regular house that like you and I would live in, and you convert the house basically to be like a miniature nursing home. You might have like each bedroom may be able to have 2 residents, like roommates in each room, and it might be a 3-bedroom house. And so you could get licensed for 6 people or whatever the rules are for your area, which is what determines how many people you can have. But in general, they're like the smaller residential assisted living homes. They are houses that just have people living in them, and you have someone there 24/7 to provide care for them. And you can decide what level of care you want to take. If the person, like if you want to take people that are bedbound, or, like you might only want to take people that can walk. You may not want to take people that are in wheelchairs. So you get to decide. Only thing is, the pickier you are, you may not get the number of residents that you want. You may have empty beds sometimes if you're not willing to accept people that have a high demand for care. So assisted living, child care, typically there's a need for that in most places, but if you have a very high unemployment rate or it's an area that is very low income, the only child care centers that may thrive in those type of areas may be nonprofits. Yeah, you can go with different things. So I'd have to think about that more as far as Louisville, Kentucky. I'm not sure if that's if you're in an area that's considered progressive, where a lot of people are active in doing things and in business, like it's a thriving economy. If that makes a huge difference as far as what kind of business you can do. You can do a home healthcare agency. A home healthcare agency has to be licensed as well, I think. And what that is just a company that recruits people who are like CNAs, certified nursing assistants, or people like aides who can go to people's homes. Like if I'm sick, if I'm older, I had a stroke, I'm at home, I don't want to go into a nursing home, or I don't want to go into assisted living. I want someone to come to me. How do I find that person? A person that I don't have to worry about doing a lot of work to find them. Well, I can call a home health agency and they would send someone out. And it's possible that insurance may cover some of those visits, and some of it may be private pay. If it's private pay, then the people have to have money. The person would have to have like a good amount of savings or retirement income to be able to pay for one-on-one care in their own home. But that's a business that may be viable in that area. Hey, V. I completely overlooked the fact that you stopped through. And of course, Airbnb. Oh, Janae, hi. Oh, it's so nice to see people, even if they just stop through briefly. It's like just saying hello real quick. Okay, any more questions, Barbara or Derek? I think you all might be the last two in the group. Oh, there's another person that just came. The numbers fluctuate so much. I can see on the side of my screen when people are joining in. So we're talking about business here, how to start various businesses, how to get into the business mindset. If anyone has any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. I usually have a delay. Oh, here we go. We'll have to get more capital to make more moves. Well, with what you're doing, depends on how big you want to get. I'm not sure what kind of equipment you already have. I'm not sure if you want to stay in the landscaping business. Um, if you want to stay in that, I do know that some of the equipment that you all use can be like a real investment. And then buying the things to pull the equipment, and then you have to have tags for that. So I know that it feels like that business would be a high overhead business, because unless you're a one man show and you're just paying yourself, but if you get a lot of business, that means now you have employees. Now you have transportation costs, and depending on who your clientele is, if you're not providing services to like wealthy people or people who are very comfortable financially, a lot of people don't believe in paying a whole lot of money for landscaping. They would just have their yard look terrible, or pay somebody around the way to do something basic. I mean, I've even been guilty of that. I'll be honest, if I'm ever struggling, like the landscaping, that would come off the plate. And my children's father, he would actually cut the grass at the facilities and shovel. Matter of fact, I think he shoveled snow the last time we had snow. So um, people will cut corners on that. But if you get, like, you go out to Potomac and you get a good rapport, like as you're networking with people and you present yourself professionally and you do a good job, you never know who that person knows and who they might tell about you. So I always say, when you're able to provide those services to people that have some money to spend, you might only have a few customers, and that's all you really need to do well. You may not really need as much money as you think, but I do see why. I see why you feel like maybe you should save up a little more. One of the ideas that I had is to do a video about quick startup capital and ways, creative financing for your company, creative financing. And some of the things that I recommend, might seem a little controversial, or people have mixed feelings about it, but sometimes people have to do what they have to do. Um, and I'm not talking about, like, I'm not going to be advising people to sell drugs or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But it's going to be like how the other day, like I mentioned, you might have to stop paying your rent, to be able to move to a bigger house that you can do Airbnb out of. If you don't have enough money to make that move, you might have to stiff your landlord. I mean, and if you start doing better, you can always try to pay them back. But sometimes you have to rob Peter to pay Paul. And so creative financing, I'm going to share with people the kind of things that you can do to help you have a chance at business, have a chance at getting started. Because most of us, we don't really have people that are giving us money, and we're not, I don't know anybody with a trust fund. I don't know people that just have like lump sum sitting around waiting for their children to ask for it to do a business. However, that's what I feel like I want for my children. I want to just have a trust fund for them. I want to have money where if they get a business idea, they can come to me and I can finance it if it's something I feel is viable. But until that happens, I feel like certain populations of people are disadvantaged, and you do have to get creative in how you get your capital. So I think I'm going to do a video on that, because there are a couple maneuvers and things that I've done that were risky, but they kind of worked out. But Derek, I get the impression that you're not sold on landscaping. I get the impression that you want to know if there's something else out there that will do it for you. I think that you're interested in other options. Like, you're not quite sure that the landscaping business is going to do what you want it to do. Yeah, flipping houses. So I don't know what the market is down there. I know in my area there's a lot of gentrification going on, and it depends on the market. If it's a buyer's market, it just depends. Like if you find a home, it depends on who. Like if you have a crew of people, if you have a contractor that can work with you to like upgrade a home, you buy it for like a fairly cheap price. You get a contractor to, you know, fix it up, and then you flip it. I've definitely heard people that have made some money doing that. I know it can be time consuming and risky, and I also do know people who got stuck with homes that didn't sell or didn't do what they thought they were going to do. Yeah, that wraps it up, Derek. Yeah, pretty much. I get that impression you're interested in more. Um, Derek, I'm not sure what your what your background is with like math and finance or numbers, but if those are things that don't really scare you, I'm definitely going to be doing a topic around the stock market. There's no guarantees there, but there are people that if they have time on their hands, they can